go. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Scott. How are you? I know
I'm
it's been a
fine.
day.
I'm dry. I'm dry. We had a torrential rain pour down here in Miami. 2 days now, ongoing.
And
Flooding everywhere.
Flooding, that's too bad.
And
How's the most
I had to
important?
make sure my records were off the floor.
Yeah. The most important thing is how are the records?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was a little scramble to make sure they were all up in the vault.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How many records do you think you have in that vault? Not in your collection here in your bedroom, but in the vault.
I have 2,000 in here and 2,000 out there. Probably more now. Probably like maybe I might have 5,000 total.
Oh, really?
After a couple of years of this channel, I get a lot more records now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one that AB is sending me from a free record. Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. on that record Gravy Train.
Yeah.
You guys. Yeah, on the record Gravy Train for 30 years before most of these complainers were pupped to this. No, it's interesting. It's the do you know what's the one we were talking about? Is the Duke
Indigos, Ellington Indigos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have the 33, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So this will be the double 45. Well, I'm looking for
on indigo vinyl.
Oh, yes. Okay. Here we go. Armin Kachaturian. Greetings, fellas. Hi, Armin.
Hello, Armin.
I love this. You know, Armin, you picked up the Bruckner box set, but I haven't listened to it yet. Hopefully after the stream. That's unacceptable, Armin. You need to buy stuff, listen to it, ready for the live stream, then come up live and give us a review. That's what we want. That's what we expect from good-looking LA men.
Oh, yeah. He's a looker.
And where are you going, Scott?
I seem to be having power problems.
Oh, no. The water's coming in.
Wednesday problems.
Jack said the 33 is amazing. Well, I'm looking forward to the 45.
Yeah, 33 is great.
So here we are. Look at this. Power restored. See you all at 5 p.m. Well, the power came back on at 10 past 4. Then Jan, my fabulous producer, and I had a mad scramble to get things organized. It's been a hell of a week. Poor Carl has had to leave China. He's come back. He's fine. He's fine. But his family had an issue he had to deal with. Everyone's fine. But he had to come back. So that's, I think a week early. I don't think he even got the can jam. He'll be here next week. He'll tell us all about it. But we're thinking about Carl. And Jim, who I thought was going to get him on a little bit earlier, but he's probably in the land of nod. It's 2 a.m. in Sicily, and he's going to tell us what's going on in Sicily. And Angie is coming on. She's going to tell us about the KL audio cleaner, which I think trumps the Degrita cleaner that you were using today, Scott, and the Degrita cleaner I have. But
I'll talk about that in a minute.
I think it's about $7,000.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. It's more commercial use.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. And then we've got lots of records to show and hopefully lots of questions. And we'll put the link up in a little while, and maybe a couple of people could come up. It'd be great to see you. So let's see what we got here. Joey says, hi, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Look forward to tonight's show. It's great to see you. Joey, one day you're going to come up and surprise us. I know that. We love having you.
Yes.
Jack, good evening all.
Had a nice conversation with Jack the other night.
Oh, you did, eh? What?
Yeah.
Excuse me, a private conversation off the record?
Yes, he got private advice from, no. We were talking, he had a question about the Victrolas, and since I'm immersed in Victrolas right now, I have the answers for him. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
And Straight Talk says, power to the people. Glad it came back on. Power to the people. Now that is a record. One of my absolute favorites. Joe Henderson. Oh my God, that was brilliant.
Oh, I thought you meant John Lennon and Yoko Ono.
No. Hi, Angie. How are you?
Hi, Angie.
Guys doing?
Good.
Well, it's been.
How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. And you?
Good. I'm okay.
Okay. Okay.
We've all had an interesting week,
Yeah.
ending up with the power, of course. Angie, how are things at your end? Still the same?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, tell Grandma to get well soon. We're thinking about it.
Yeah.
You don't know Angie's mom. Angie's mom is the most amazing person, and she's been a strong advocate for her family. And Angie is one of the most amazing daughters and looks after her mom. And the mom's been a little bit poorly, so we're hoping she gets well soon.
I hope
And
so.
also, Age, did you wake up? Yeah, my friend.
Yeah.
Hey, James, oh, James, put the hat on. Where's the hat?
I see an emoji there. There you
Wow.
go.
Yeah.
There
Hey,
it is.
arrivederci.
Ciao.
Arrivederci. Ciao.
There he is. We're going to talk to you all. I want to talk to you all about Sicily and how's it's going. And I cannot thank you enough. Just so you know, it's 2:00 where Jim is, so 2 a.m. So we really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. We'll do a couple more questions and comments. Alan says, "Good evening, Anthony, Scott, and macadamians." Fantastic. Joey says, "Hi, Anthony and Scott." And this is from Richard C. Good evening, everyone. Scott, thanks for your video on the Ursa Major brush. I bought one and it works very well.
Ah, okay. Good. That was a while ago. I still use mine too. I like it.
Could you get my Raymar brush? Raymar brush. It's a wooden brush.
Always looking for a good brush.
Now, this is ridiculously expensive, but it is very, very good. Let's see if I can get myself.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah. This has that. It's got that incredible magnetic seal.
Yeah.
It has a brush for this stylus. It has a carbon fiber brush,
Right.
and it's this gorgeous walnut. And you see, I'm sure you can see Raymar there. Let's see there, Raymar. Thank you, Jen. But it's I think it's about $300. It's very expensive. They did send it to me. Full disclosure on the gravy train.
Ah,
Okay. Anyway, it's very, very good. Now, Scott, the Ursa Major brush, what is that like?
this is what it looks like.
Hang on, let me get you big so we can all see it. Oh yeah.
It has a wood. You can get your choice of wood there. They have different kinds, and it's indented here, so you can grab it pretty easily. It's quite weighty. Very similar look to yours. I think there's like 10 or 12 rows of carbon fiber, and a little thing to knock off the dust, and it's like that. Yeah, I considered that one, but it was way too expensive, and
That one's not cheap, is it? It's about $100.
this is 60. Oh, it was when I bought it a couple of years ago. I bought it after Michael Fremer reviewed his big dust off video. I don't know if you ever saw that, but he reviewed like 12 different brushes, and the one you have was one of them too. I don't remember which one won, but this was sort of in the top 3 or 4.
I think if you don't have a lot of money, I think the Audio Quest brush that has that little grounding wire.
Yeah.
So, Angie probably sells them. That I think they're about $30 or $40. It's supposed to be very good. I mean, it's a brush is a brush. I mean, that's exorbitant, the Raymar, but it is beautiful, and I've been using it like twice a day for like 5 times a day for about 4 years, and it's been perfect. Okay, let's see a couple more. I have them to show tonight. Scott. Oh, great, Jack. We'll have you up in a bit. You have the Queen up here with her record, so we got to see the Queen first. She has to do her record. And this is Jim. Do you want to read that one, bud?
Speaking of Italy, I listened to a very pleasant Amarcord soundtrack with music by Nina Rota, conducted by Carlos Savina this week. Sounds fabulous.
Oh, good. Cool, Amarcord. And I think is it Indiana Jones? I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Well,
Oh.
there we go. I can take it off if it.
No. And Jones, I didn't get a chance to take a photograph of the toaster. That Joey's flirting with Angie.
Have you got?
I didn't get a chance. I mean, it's been a disaster all day, Jim. Like I'm surprised. I mean, I got literally, when you haven't played a concert for a while because of I'm sure you've had this, Jim. Have you had nightmares where you got a gig and you're late for the gig? Or God, worse, you are not prepared for the gig. Like you're doing Pierre Lunaire by Schoenberg and you're throwing your piccolo, and you're like, oh my God. Well, it's like this was like, there's 2 TELUS outages for me. And today with the and then getting, you're in the land of Nod for sure, because I sent you 5 messages and it was crickets. Then we had Noah and the flood up in Miami, and so. But anyway, all's well that ends well. Anyway, so Jim, before we get to Angie and her review of the KL audio, let's get a couple of photographs up if we can. Okay, tell us what that is.
Well, that's the main street. I've got Clara here who can add very similitude to my limited knowledge.
Clara.
Hi.
Hi, Clara. How are you? You'll come
fine.
on, beautiful Clara, but Jan just sits over there and she won't come on. She's so Clara, tell us, first of all, you having a good time in Sicily?
Yeah, it's lovely. It's been lovely. The weather's been amazing. It's really hot, but it also has a very cool breeze because we're surrounded on 3 sides by sea.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
So,
Is Jim behaving himself?
Oh no.
I had a sort of virus thing today. I've been asleep most of the day, and talking about dreams. You were driving. This is you, right? You were driving a tour bus. We were all on tour somewhere, and we pull up at some ghastly B&B somewhere in, I don't know, Bromsgrove or Birmingham or something. And you're saying, oh, this is great, it's perfectly all right. And we're all saying, well, I'm staying here. This is rubbish. So, yeah, it's all been very, quite esoteric today, yeah.
Oh, well, like I said, everyone has had issues today, like big issues. So we really appreciate everyone being here. Let me see if I can get, I think I have another one.
That's the view from our balcony window down the main street.
Isn't that beautiful?
How beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing architecture in this place.
And that's the entrance to one of the apartment buildings, literally just down from us. The whole thing is sort of very, well, all this whole street must have been built in the 18th century, because it's quite Marriage of Figaro, really, the whole thing. And they have these great big doors, like sort of castle gateway doors, but you go into a smaller door in the side, and most of them, and they open into these huge courtyards of medieval, sort of. Well, I don't know. They're like castle escarpments, some of them. I mean, one of the places we're in is similar to that. You've got a great big sweeping hallway when you go in. Then you have to climb up 2 sets of stairs to get to the apartment.
I will tell you, your picture and your sound better than the termite towers. I'll tell you right now. I don't know. We call Jim's place in London termite towers. It's not as beautiful, but yeah, it's the Wi-Fi sound. It feels like it's really good.
Well, it is very good. In fact, I think it is a stronger signal than what I get. But I'm going to speak to EE about that when I get back, because
Well, you look great. You sound great. And of course, you have your significant other, much better looking significant other there. Anyway, it's lovely. It's lovely to see that place. Tell us about your Airbnb. What town are you in?
We're in the city of Trapani, which is actually it's a town really, but it's a major port in Sicily, and it started off as sort of Greek a Greek place, and it's been influenced by the Romans and the Phoenicians and the Normans, and then later
Everybody else in Europe, yeah.
so it's got a really deep history. So it's very interesting architecturally, and but it's a very pretty place, and it's a little bit remote. The transport from here is not great. The train station isn't working properly at the moment. It's being I think restored. So
yeah, we wanted to get the train to go around Mount Etna because I like volcanoes,
Yeah.
but there's no trains at the moment because the station's collapsed.
You and Carl could have a volcano off, or as Carl calls them, volcanoes. Because he's got those ones in Indonesia that kind of like, okay, we're going to blow now, and then 5,000 people have to lose their homes.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I can't believe that you want to 2 in the morning. I really appreciate it, Clara. Thanks for looking after him. And you both look great on that Airbnb. I mean, Sicily, the food looked incredible. How's the wine?
The wine's
it's
great.
lovely. Yeah, beautiful. Actually, well, we had a really nice bottle of wine in one of the restaurants. I can't remember. It's Masala wine.
Yes, really beautiful.
Is it really?
It really is. And I just let the waiter pick it, and then we thought, oh, we're probably going to get a bill for $50 or something for this. It wasn't. It was about 20 euros, wasn't it?
Yeah, really nice. Dry, fresh, very good.
Angie is not just an expert on records, but she's an expert on wine too, especially Italian. She's her favorite. You like Amarone, right, Ange?
Yes, that's it.
And every time I go to Angie's place, no one looks after her guests like Angie. I mean, when you go to Angie, there's a spread, like it just goes forever, right? Depends on
That's
what
my Italian heritage.
Yeah. Depends what mansion we're in.
Too.
In one of the mansions, we go there, and she has the Rockport Lyras in one room and all the airtights in the other, and downstairs there's these massive avant-gardes. And then we'll come up for a snack, and we got up there, and her assistant or third assistant or fourth assistant, just it's laid out, and then of course not just one bottle of wine, about 10 bottles to choose from. So if you're ever in the area in Toronto, to go make a reservation to go to Angie's to listen.
Maybe one day Scott will come over and see what you're talking about.
Yeah, I love that.
We've invited him. He just won't come. I guess when you live in Miami, I mean, where else do you need to go?
No, that's not true.
Summertime here. He can sort out all my records.
Oh no. Okay, Richard said volcano. Let's call the whole thing off. You say volcano. I just when Carl was talking, he has that New England aristocratic New York accent, and yes, I was there with my volcano today. What the hell was he talking about? Okay. Anyway, Angie, I'm going to make you big. Okay.
Well, I think we can let Clara go to.
Clara, thank you so much.
Sleep, I think.
Yeah.
Good night, all.
Jan, Jan's yelling, good night, Clara. Clara was great. It looked beautiful on the screen. Jan, anyway, it's terrible. Anyway, here we go. Solo layout. So, Angie, from American Sound. So, Angie, we're going to see some records later, but tell us about this fancy schmancy record cleaner you got.
Well, I'm going to take you there so you can see it.
Oh, cool.
And I can walk you through it.
I can just put
if that's all right.
Yeah, I've got to photograph it just to make sure so people can see what it looks like. There we go.
I'll clean a record so you can see how it works.
Yeah. Okay. So
let me see. Do you have it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to put you.
The machine is not just the machine, which is really easy to use.
Oh, look at that.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get it. There you go. So you can time it on how many minutes you want it to clean the record. You can set the time for how many minutes you want to dry the record. So far I figured out 2 minutes on each works well.
Yeah. Yeah. Same
and depending on how dirty the record is, The nice thing about it is it has a tank in the back of it, which you can see here.
Oh yeah, look at that.
All right. So this is where you put, by the way, regular tap water. You don't need to use distilled. You
Oh,
don't need to use any surfactant, nothing.
why is
Just plain old tap water.
why
So
is
that's
that?
a big, big plus. Because before with the other machine, which I'll show you what the other was, you had to mix it, you had to do all kinds of things. These are the pumps. This feeds the water in, and this pump that goes back into the tank puts it back in. So you can clean about 500 records before you should clean the water out. The filter is also replaceable. That's good for a few hundred records as well. And it's really simple. It's not too noisy. Although they do have an optional quieting machine that encases this in a box with a lid, and you could have it even more quiet. So I'll just get a quick record.
Yeah, I'd like to hear the volume
And
compared to.
you can hear it and see it, and I'll just set it on the 1 minute. Sometimes I do an extra dry. So it's real simple. You slide this in. The blue light's flickering, but because it's bringing in the water to the tank, it doesn't take too long. And once that goes up,
Your, your sound's getting a bit funky there.
Wow.
It sounds like something out of Logan's Run, that television movie, right? Soundtrack.
I think maybe the ultrasonic is affecting the phone.
I think the ultrasonic is affecting the phone. Yeah, Ash, we can't hear you, my love, unfortunately. This looks like something out of a Fellini movie.
it was also easy to use, but
Oh, now
you have
now
to
it's
survive.
now
So
I can hear
that's it now. And now it's going to go into the vacuum. So you'll hear the noise of the vacuum. I highly recommend it. It's not cheap,
you. No,
but if you have a big collection, there's the fan.
Oh, it's quiet.
Yeah, it's pretty quiet.
No distortion on the phone this time.
Okay,
cleaning-
we don't need to listen to the fan, so we'll walk away.
Very good, Ash. And what are they? What are the US 6,000 or something?
It's so Acoustic Sounds has global distribution, although dealers can buy at wholesale from him. So dealers do have access to accommodate their customer. It's $64.99 on
US.
Acoustic Sounds, US, yeah. So by the time you ship it and do all that to Canada, you're looking at over $9,000.
Yeah, not you're looking. This is more for a total vinyl file with 5 to 10,000 records, and that is it's just it's
Well,
fastidious.
what I would encourage is if there's enough people, friends that you have
Yes.
that are into vinyl, that you can each pitch in. Let's say there's 4 or 5, and rotate it amongst friends. So it's purchased as a group purchase, and
Yeah,
everyone can share in cleaning their records.
great
And it's a
idea.
good bonding thing. So while you're listening to records, the guys can sit together or take it home, and you have it one weekend and I have it another. That's a way to afford a good machine.
Now, Howard, have you played a record before and after? Because I found
Yes.
the degritter. What was incredible about the degritter, it's also not cheap, was that it actually created better sounding records. It wasn't just didn't clean the dirt. Like it just gets at a subatomic level that the sound stage. At least this happened on 5 or 6 records. So I said it's actually a part of my analog setup. Like I would, there's no way I was going to do without it. In fact,
Yes.
this is so popular, this piece of equipment, because it's.
I would say that any cleaner is going to be a better improvement on the vinyl. You were showing brushes. There's stylus treatments as well. There's a number of other things, not just the record cleaning. So any record cleaning machine, whatever you can afford, VPI makes something affordable. There's still a lot. It doesn't have to be ultrasonic. Ultrasonic is so much easier. But
Yeah.
so that's my privilege. I can splurge and do what I want. But any record cleaner will ultimately give you better sound, whether it's $1,000 machine or a $6,000 machine. What is important is to keep up the carbon fiber brush, the Stylus treatment, or Lyra has a treatment which works really well, because you've got to treat the stylus too, not just the record. And then the environment you're in. When it comes to the environment of analog, I always have a dehumidifier and a humidifier depending on the season. If it's too dry and staticky in my room, I got a spray bottle of water. I spray down my carpet. That's perfect. Yeah. Anything like that cleans. Yeah, but that's a cleaner. There's also a treatment.
I cannot recommend that highly enough. It's not expensive, $28 or something from Chad.
Yeah.
The disc doctor Stylus can just put a little bit on. Do not, otherwise you don't want it to migrate up the cantilever. But it is very, very good, very effective, and very inexpensive.
I agree, but that's the cleaner which should be used sparingly. What you can use freely is the treatment. So the treatment actually stiffens and hardens the diamond on the cantilever, and that's crucial. So you want to have an iron, very solid diamond tip to ride the groove of the record better. So there is, yes, the cleaner, use it sparingly, but the treatment is what you should use as well. And again,
do you have a special? Do you have a company? Do you have a company that you like that does the treatment?
Well, yeah, there's two that I mentioned. One is Lyra, which makes cartridges.
Oh, yeah.
They have a treatment which is I use and I love it. Stylus also makes a treatment and a cleaner. So you can look at them. I don't know who sells it, but I use the Stylus. And then for cleaning the stylus, there's other treatments. There's the one you dip your, I forget what it's called, the jelly one that you dip your stylus in. That also can clean the stylus. So it's not just the record. That's the beginning. And then there's the rest of it. If you've got a lot of static, hey, you can blow a tweeter, just cueing down your record. So get a humidifier or get a spray bottle of water and spray your carpet down. In the home, we usually walk around with slippers, so that creates static. So it's more than just getting a super cleaner, and get a super cleaner and share it. I think it's really good that everyone gets a really good one. And if you can't afford to buy it, get 3 or 4 or 5 guys together and make a little bonding thing, with vinyl. That's my take on the KL. So I highly recommend the KL, even though it's a bloody fortune.
Yeah.
Keep talking, guys. You can find this Lyra thing.
Yeah, the Lyra treatment is quite good. It's under $100.
$50.
But I use it on every time, I play a record. Now, it doesn't have to be on each side, but you will notice. So that is where you'll notice more of a difference than actually cleaning it. The cleaning is, of course, the first start.
You sell Lyra.
Angie, sorry.
Go ahead, Jim.
Does it work equally well on, say, 78s and stuff?
Absolutely. It does 10-inch and 12-inch quite easily, the same way.
Right.
I mean, I can go pull out the record now, but, we did a minute either way. If it's really dirty, I would recommend a 78 that you probably time it longer than you would a 33.
Right. Okay.
Is there any problem that if it's a shellac 78, do you know?
Well, shellac should be, when you buy a new record, it always has something left over from the pressing. So anyone who opens don't open a new record and play it. You got to clean it first.
Yeah.
Always clean it first and then play it,
Mhm.
because that's going to affect the stylus tip as well. Look how much cartridges are today. We
Yeah.
need them to survive.
Right.
Andrew, you sell Lyra cartridges, correct?
Yes, I do.
And they're amazing cartridges, aren't they? They're all through the line. I love them all. Every time I've heard one at your place, amazing. The Etna is like, oh God, how much is that?
The Etna now, I believe, in US is about 12,000, and then of course there's the Atlas, which is 20 plus. But you got to be careful when you enter that level of cartridges, because the tone arm that you're putting it on really is crucial. The VTA that you use, the angle that you use, the more money you spend on a cartridge, the more TLC is required, and making sure that it's capable to be matched with the weight of your tone arm. So compliance, that's
Sure.
important. You
Sure.
just can't put any cartridge on any table. So you should always check. And that's why I tell people, if you're going to buy a cartridge, look at what you've got as a table. If your table is, let's say, under $2,000 or less, you're probably best off and safest to go with a really good moving magnet cartridge. Leave the good moving coil cartridges alone until you think you're going to buy a turntable for $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, because they're going to be more adaptable to be properly mated with a high quality moving coil cartridge. And I tell people that a great, like an Ortofon black and moving magnet would probably be better than, in its same price, a cheap moving coil. And that's
Especially
what
if
it
it's
is. It's a cheap moving coil.
especially if
And
it's
then
set
you're
up.
going to cry when it breaks in 6 months because it didn't suit your turntable. So matching there is just as crucial. Analog is like the phono stage, the cartridge, the tone arm, it's like a whole entire setup of an audio system is concentrated on just it's not just a turntable, it's everything else associated with it. So you have to match things up properly. Don't think if I spend, $2,000 on a cartridge, my $2,000 turntable is going to be over the moon. Not true. Not true. It's going to be limping and then a disaster within 3 to 6 months because it will collapse.
Have a read of
Just
that.
my opinion.
That's great, Ange. Keep it coming. Ange, have a read of that.
We call the Lyra solution Angel Tears. It is in the audio community due to the price. Well, it's
You
worth
gotta pay
it.
the plans,
So
right?
you have one less takeout meal a week. Not a big deal. I mean, try to balance it, but it is worth it, and I strongly recommend it.
When you hear a really great cartridge and it just sounds that little bit better, but all the detail and stuff, it's just remarkable. I'm just finishing up the video and my final review of my final step up transformer, and I literally cannot believe. You're thinking you've heard this and it's going to be great, but then analog just keeps getting a little bit better, and they give you more information, remove a veil, and it's magical. It's catnip, like in a great
Yeah.
cartridge.
A lot of the current better phono stages do have good step-up transformers built in. What a outboard step-up transformer is really good at is for somebody who may have an old classic phono stage. I'm just trying to think of, it starts with a K and it just escaped me. But there are some old classic 80s phono stages where they don't have enough poop to get the moving coil going. So they want to keep their phono stage and just buy the step up and add it to their current beloved phono stage.
How is
Instead of going out to spend 10 or 12K on a whole new phono stage that maybe you don't even like, but you do it because it's got a better step up. This is where I love step ups. You can add it to whatever your favorite phono stage is.
I can't believe what it's done. The three of them, all three of them have done to the my Phasmation, which you know how much I love. Tell me about the Airtight. I didn't get a chance to listen to that. I would love to at some time. They make two of them, right? And I saw one at your house.
Yes.
Are you close to it? Are you close to it? Can you show us it?
I'd have to go back to, well, we can check out the record in this meantime.
Yeah.
It's a walk away where the record cleaning machine is. But the two that you mentioned, they're actually both the same, except one has two inputs, the other has one. Of
Oh,
course, I have three singles because I want to use single ones. But I have one currently with my AirTouch phonostate. I'll walk it over here. We'll just walk again. Not far.
it's okay, Ange.
I should send you one. I do have a spare. I can do that.
Well, I would love to hear it, compare it to the, because I won't tell
Yeah.
you which one you purchased, but I did purchase one of the three, and they're
Yep. The
it
Ikeda.
doesn't really matter which one they're all good.
Well, the Ikeda, that's all right. Ikeda is a good one. So this is can you see it?
No, just bring the no, it's too high.
Down. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
So this is the unit. It's just
there
a
we
small block, and you could see the back of it. Let me see. No, here now you could see it. This is the phono stage. So this phono stage, which is Uber money, doesn't have an MC built in. So I
Really?
need to use a step up with it.
It's amazing.
So they're practicing. Yeah, absolutely. Go get a separate outboard step up. It's outside of the chassis, and you can adjust the RIA AA and make it like a London recording here, so you can play it back accordingly.
I actually mentioned in the reviews, Ange, that the most important thing about the step-up transformer is the winding of the transformer. And Tim DeParavicini, who did the ear, was incredible before he died. Rest in peace, Tim, a genius. But the high-end, super high-end manufacturers like Airtight, the Japanese,
Yep.
Airtight, Ikeda, Phasmation, these guys know how to wind transformers. They know how to do it. It's amazing.
That's important, but also making sure that your MC cartridge is compatible with that step up transformer.
Well,
One shoe does not fit all.
the Ikeda
Here's
is
our clean record, by the way.
Oh, okay.
There you
The
go.
Ikeda is perfect for my Phasmation, but if I had
Yes.
a different, if I had it, but it's kind of a one cartridge woman, you know, whereas the ear and the Ultrasonic have the functionality. You can do a lot of cartridges.
Yeah, well, I have high respect for Ikeda. I don't sell their product, but I respect them. Their tone arm is very good. And I have an old Jeff Rowland cartridge, which Ikeda made for him.
Jeff Rowland,
and that's
really?
it's a cantilever-less cartridge. It has no cantilever. And
Well,
that
there
works
is-
on certain tables. It's not, again, you can't paint everything with the same brush.
I don't think
you need a specific type arm for that cartridge to be used.
Well,
Yeah.
incredible stuff, Ange. Okay, I think we're going to show some records now. We have some things to discuss. We might get to it later, but Ange, we're going to see some of your records as well. So I'm going to go to Scott because Scott's been.
Yep.
And Jim, did you find anything in the charity shops in Sicily?
No, I haven't.
You've been too busy drinking and eating Italian food. That's what you mean.
I'm too busy, eating nice food and looking at the sea. I'm afraid today.
Amazing.
I don't even know if there are sort of second-hand record stores in Italy that are the same as we have in Europe, in England or America. I don't know. I'll ask this week and see.
How long? By the way, just before Scott starts, how long are you there till?
Until next week.
On the Wednesday again?
Yeah. No. I'm back on Tuesday.
I hope so. My goodness me. Okay, Scott, hit it, bud.
Okay. Well, I can't remember what I've shown you so far. I'm trying to go in order, but if you've seen a couple of these before, forgive me. I'm working on a Victrola review for my channel. And one of them is spectacular. I'm going to talk about it tonight, but I'm in love with the series. I really love these. This is Charles Munch, Boston Symphony Orchestra, Franck Symphony in D.
Gorgeous.
I love these because, well, usually they're in wonderful condition, you know, and sometimes this feels like a thinner one. The pressings are usually, okay, this is a pink label. I'm going to show you this because this is an unusual thing that you need to know about Victrolas. Once in a while, you get one of these.
Oh my God.
But don't despair because they actually have the quietest vinyl. But they are a little weird to handle. That's the Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto No. 3 with Byron Janis. This is fabulous, and it sounds great.
How much
Montreux.
How much do you go for if you go on Discogs and you want to get, you know, maybe 5 or 6 Victrolas, the ones that you're recommending? How much do you think they go for? Do you know?
I would say under $10.
Really? That's
Oh,
remarkable.
sure. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with Jack just this week. He found 10 in a store, and I think he paid $35 for 10. And and all of them were sealed.
Jack's going to show up. Show us. Jack's up. He's going to show us in a minute.
Berlioz Symphonie Fantastique, Montreux.
Montreux, yeah, but the Vienna Phil. This is an interesting.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Vienna Phil.
For that repertoire.
Isn't there a Decca pressing of that with Montreux and the Vienna Phil?
There very well may be. Some of these recordings that were done with the partnership between RCA and Decca, some of them did show up on here.
Yeah, because I've got that, and it's the World of series. You know, those 1970s
Right.
ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
This one is I don't know how you say this violinist name. Can you tell me?
Sharing.
Okay, I'm glad I didn't try. Brahms Violin Concerto in D.
A very underrated violinist.
Yeah, this is super rare in this original RCA Living Stereo.
That's wonderful.
You never see it. Never.
Great collection. Jesus, these are good. Oh, look at that.
Nice little collection there of stuff. This one, again, it's a very rare RCA Living Stereo.
Wow. Yeah.
And you say the sound is approaching the classic, the shaded glass?
The Red Seals, yeah, it does. It's only a couple of years later. It's like those were done in 58, 59, and these are 64. It's only a couple of years later.
Where are they pressed?
Indianapolis. I only buy Indianapolis pressed RCAs. And you can tell the moment you take it out of the sleeve, you'll know it's an RCA. It feels like a quality record.
Oh, I've got that on the classic records reissue. It's quite good. It's not the best, but the it's well played.
Yeah. You'll notice on these, compared to the classics, they have a sweeter sound, especially in the strings.
Better tell Armin to pick up some. Armin's got a question for you.
That's the famous original, what is it, 1958 version? Yeah, it's a popular one. 2 more, and then I'm going to show you the, what are they called? The piece de resistance.
These are incredible, Scott.
Yeah, Rachmaninoff. This is you never see this in original.
Never.
Never.
Brailovsky, never heard of him. And Enrique Porter, I have, but
one more. This one, Eroica.
now his Eroica with the Concertgebouw, Jim.
Oh yeah,
it's incredible.
That's another one that's Vienna.
Yeah, that's but his Amsterdam one. Like Montour would go to these different orchestras and create these genius recordings. I mean, it's amazing. Amazing.
So there's one more. It's a famous one, but I just cleaned it today. I have 2 copies. I cleaned them both on a degritter. It was sounding good before, but oh my God. If you only search out one of these, this is the one.
That
Ah.
the fast ballet music.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Because the new Ryan K. Smith recut is fantastic. I mean, it's really good.
It is really good. Yeah. I have a pile of different reissues of this, but this one is wonderful. And this, in its heyday, this went for $35 compared to most of the other ones. Usually you could get those for under 10. This was always commanded a higher price because of the title, but the sound does not disappoint. Wonderful. I was just like,
Damien Groove listened to the Tuscany Beethoven 9 symphonies this week on Victrola. Yeah, good stuff.
yeah. So that's it.
Great, Scott. Okay, here we go, Jack.
Well,
Chris-
I don't think mine are as exotic as Scott's, but
We want to hear about your private conversations with
Well,
Scott.
I'll tell you exactly why I called Scott. Being a Scott, it knows infinitely more than I do about this label and the history. But so I went to my my local record store in Knoxville, where most of their used stuff is Conway Twitty and Johnny and Dolly Parton. So they know little about classical music, but they're learning, because now I see no RCA living stereos, and
Yeah.
I think they pulled them all out. The Mercuries, they pulled them out, and I think they figured out that there's some money in those. But they did. I did look for these Victrolas, and there were 10 of them sitting all together, sealed.
Oh,
And,
man.
and he wanted 30. He sold them all to me for $35. Now, all but one. I'm going to go through these. All but one are mono, which I had a question on, because in Discogs they don't list any mono RCA Victrola pressings. They list them along with the stereo. The mono is the VIC and the number. The stereo is the VICS and the number. And for example, on this cover, you'll see it doesn't say stereo up here or up here
No.
like it does on Scott's. But there were some good things in here. I listened to this one this afternoon. We're having some work done here in the house, so I haven't had time to even take these out of the shrink yet, and I'm going to plan on doing that tomorrow. But here's the label, and as you can see, it says mono on the bottom. It's the plum label, Scott, with mono on the bottom.
Scott, sorry, lift it up a little bit, bud. Lift it up. There we go. That's it. Perfect.
Yeah. A lot of these living stereo titles were issued in both mono and stereo. So they carried that on in the Victrola series.
Yeah.
There's certainly nothing wrong with the monos either. It's just,
And I listened to this, Anthony, with the Audio Technica mono cartridge, thanks to you. Thank you. And it sounded great. I mean, it sounded wonderful. And you know, this is Boston with Munch.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, in my photography business, there's a very famous landscape photographer, 3 generations now. His son has inherited, and of course there was David Munch. If anybody knows about photography, was a great landscape photographer. He's still alive, and now Mark, his son, is taking over. But when I see Munch, it reminds me of David. He's a good friend. So I'll go through these quick. I don't want to take up too much time.
Take as long as you like.
That's a great one.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So $3.50 a piece, Scott.
Yeah, you made out.
Well, you know, once in a while, it makes it. You know, it's like, this is like gambling. You know, sometimes you lose a lot of money, then you make some money. So if you average everything out, you know, at the end of the year, if I break even, I'm a happy guy. Here's another one.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. That's the record.
Yeah.
So as you can see, still sealed.
Right.
And you see, it's interesting in the back on this one. See how it lists the stereo and the mono labels?
Right.
But this is a mono record.
Okay.
Because on the front here, it shows I'll get that out of the glare there if I can. That's the mono number on it, VIC,
Right.
not VICS.
The early cover slicks, you see how they wrap around the
Yeah.
back. They would just raise it so that the stereo would be over the back and you wouldn't see it anymore. And there was a mono at the bottom. So most of the time you'll see the mono at the bottom.
Well, this stuff's a little rare. I'm familiar with the Haydn piece. I'm not familiar with the Mozart work on here.
No, I'm not either. That's a later. Yeah. Sometimes
We'll have to see what that is.
Yeah, I don't have that one. So you
But
you have what I don't.
Covers on these are just fantastic.
Yeah.
What a collection you got. Oh my God.
You know, Blue Note Records did 2 books on the covers on Blue Note Records. RCA could do a whole beautiful coffee table book on just the covers on
That
Victrola.
would be nice.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Wow, I've never seen that one. I mean, I have it in the regular pressing, but yeah.
Okay.
Do they all
Few
do they
more.
all feel about the same weight, Jack?
Yes. Yeah, they're all
Yeah.
thick. They're all.
Yeah, they're probably all plum labels.
Jack, when you get a chance
Mhm.
on YouTube, there's a video about the early RCA recordings and how they make an RCA record, and they use that performance, that recording of the what is it? The Tchaikovsky Romeo and Juliet, and it's just it's fascinating how they make the record and the recording, and of course the quality of the Boston Symphony.
Well, I think Boston did a good job on that. I have that on CD that I redid.
Mm.
Okay, so that's the mono version of the one I showed. Yeah,
I saw that.
great.
Yes, Scott, but Jack's is sealed.
Yeah, I know. Minty.
I think I'd trade the stereo for the sealed mono.
No, really.
I would like to hear that record because when we have our friend, who's the gentleman who's coming on, who's a reissue engineer.
Hoffman.
Yeah, Steve Hoffman. Steve Hoffman always talks about some of those classics that are very, very bright. Sounds like an ice pick. He's playing them, and I disagree with quite a few of them. But that one is very bright on classic records.
This one here.
The Slavonic dances.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear the original kind of concept of that recording.
So you say this is recorded a little hot?
No, not
Classic
necessarily.
record is terrible. It's so bright. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
The classic records, the Bernie Grumman cut. From
Some of Bernie's cuts are a little bright.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hot.
And then we've got
Beautiful.
the difference to Armin here. We have a
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Now, let me say one thing about these concerto recordings is you may find that you prefer them in mono if you have them side by side.
really.
Yeah. Sometimes the stereo is a little, it makes the soloist seem a little outsized, a little too big.
Yeah.
You know?
I
So,
think some of these early stereo recordings, at least in the jazz field, their separation is so much that it's annoying. They'll put the saxophone player on once. I think they're trying to sell the stereo concept.
right. That's
back in
right.
the day,
Yeah.
you know. And here's the last but not least. This is an interesting record, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yep.
Rome Symphony Orchestra. It's the only thing I have in my collection by the Rome Symphony Orchestra,
Right.
and I don't know who Moderna is. So
He's a famous
He's here.
Italian modern
Like,
composer who did some conducting. Very, very, very well respected in the modern music world.
look at
Yeah.
that cover. Isn't that great?
Amazing.
Is that still in the shrink too?
No, I took this out of the shrink, Scott, because I just wanted to see that the label was the plum.
Right. So that's a shiny cover then, huh?
It is. It is.
Okay. Yeah. Later on, they dropped the matte finish of the early covers, unfortunately. But
Yeah, this is the 1312 VIC 1312. So
right.
most of the 10 series, and this is the only one in the 1300 series.
I think some of those later ones from those kind of obscure orchestras, they might have been recordings done for other labels in Europe that were licensed. It might say errata or something on the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then last, and this is the one I'm really looking forward to.
Oh yeah. That's an interesting program. Yeah.
That's with Reiner,
Oh, beautiful.
and that's
Yeah.
really nice cover. So that's it. So that was my haul.
Well, that's a good haul.
Tech Writer says some monos sound more coherent compared to stereo in the Victrola LPs. Absolutely right,
Yeah.
Tech. That's what Scott was saying.
Yeah.
And I got a few comments today about on one of my videos, I forget what it was, but it was about mono, and just so many people are now getting into mono cartridges. Mono switch is good, really good. If you got it, use it. But a mono cartridge, dedicated mono cartridge, is the best way. And I've got the Miyajima Labs, Miyajima-san, made it handmade Infinity. It's about $37.50 US. It's magnificent. It's not many better. But the one that we reviewed, it was $250 US. What is it?
Audio Technica.
It's 33 MC mono or something. It's remarkable.
You know,
Right?
the packaging alone on that, when you take that apart, I mean, you
I
think
know.
you get a $2,000 cartridge. I mean, it's amazing the packaging they put in there. But you know, I compared, the mono, playing the mono on that Audio Technica, and I have the Technics 1200 series, fairly new 1200 series turntable with same cartridge that Scott has, the Hana moving coil. And my other turntable is a Riga 3 with the Exacta, and the $250 mono cartridge was superior and noticeably superior on a mono record.
Wow.
Well, the mono records, I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
they're made for each other. UP has a good question. Angie, I'd like to hear your opinion on this too. Anthony, did you review the new Esoteric Dvorak 8th and Brahms cell albums yet? Perhaps Angie already played those new issues. Fantastic performances. Angie, have you heard them yet?
No, but I'll get back to you on it.
Well,
I'm sure they'll be crazy.
I'm sure they will. All 6 I've reviewed so far have been absolute knockout, even with a digital step. Doesn't matter. They're incredible. People said to me, Anthony, is that 3-cornered hat better than the? Yeah. And then I showed musical examples of how it gets down to the minutiae, but not unmusical minutiae, beautiful minutiae, things that audiophiles love to hear and music lovers.
You know, what's hilarious is when you play the record and they're loving it, and then they ask if it was digital. Why are you asking?
Exactly.
Does it matter if you enjoyed it and it brought you joy? What does it matter? This is reality now.
I
grow up
and
just enjoy that we have these things available on vinyl.
Get used to it. It's all about
they are outstanding.
It's all about the remastering engineer. Don't worry about the digital. If the engineer knows what he's doing, you're going to get a good record. So Scott and I have been talking about this, and we had a really good conversation a couple of weeks ago about and I'll see if I can get it up here.
And I'll follow that up once I get to hear them.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd love to hear about it.
There is this one thing. I can find it. No, I'm getting there. Sorry, guys. It's a bit wonky. Yeah. That's the book, The Cult of the Amateur. So actually, UP, to answer your question is, no, I have not heard them yet. I have not ordered them. I kept, Angie's being very kind, but I didn't want to ask Angie again, could you please send me $200 worth of records for free? And, but I did check the Esoteric website, and they are using my reviews, which is nice. That's fine. Use as much as you like. But I think Scott and I have been talking about this, The Cult of the Amateur, this book by Andrew Keane, who was an audiophile, and he got crapped on from a great height and praised from a great height by the New York Times, by people who said, "Oh, stop being so elitist. Amateurs is great." Well, we've talked about this before. It's great to have everybody have their own say, but Scott and I are both thinking to ourselves, if we request a record and we'd like a free press copy because we're going to be doing it for review, then that's fine. But unless I get sent to me that I've asked for it, I'm not reviewing stuff, because we've talked about the Deutsche Grammophon ones have used every one of my quotes, which is fine. And they're a conglomerate. They don't need to send me anything. I'm not asking for anything. But I think just a little bit of professional courtesy sometimes with professional writers is important. So, for example, today, our friend A.B. Fawn at Impex, I didn't ask for it, but she's sending me the, what is it, Scott? What's it called?
The Ellington Indigos.
There you go. And I'll happy to listen to it. And of course, Angie's been wonderful and sent me stuff. But unless I request it, it's just it's becoming challenging to do videos and write things if they send you stuff, because you got to be fair. And sometimes, as if you saw Scott's review, brilliant review on video. What was the name of the album, Scott?
Or the Black Sabbath one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about it, Scott.
Well, the Rhino Hi-Fi series has serious fan club. And a lot of people really love them. And it's Kevin Gray. We love Kevin Gray. I particularly haven't liked the sonic signature on many of the Rhino High Fidelity releases. I find them a little bright and tipped up and not really conveying the musical message as well as I would hope. And I had a kind of some concerns about the Black Sabbath. Of course, I purchased all of my Rhino High Fidelity, so I'm under no pressure to say anything that I don't feel. And even if I did receive a record for review, there's a way, I don't know, there's a way to do it, but it gets to be a little bit, I'd rather be honest and just buy the record and just say what I think about it. And I did. And fortunately, the response was, thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your honesty all the way through.
It's an amazing review. Everybody should go watch it. I'm so proud of it. It was so amazing. And it's very difficult to be elegant and critical and honest and critical. And so many in this industry are not. The pressure is so much. I don't want to embarrass Angie here, but I will tell you that I've known Angie for 30 years. She's given me thousands of dollars in advertising. She's given me anything I've ever wanted. Never once, not even once, has she ever stuck her nose into a review. Never once.
Right.
There was the Rager. Remember, Ange, 30 years ago, the Rager CD player, and it just me and Ken Kessler, we didn't like it. Everyone else loved it. Angie said, "Let me bring some other stuff over, and we'll just check it out." So she accommodated me and helped me, but not once has she ever stuck her nose in. And quite a few people are like that. But as Angie and I have both said, the business is changing a lot. Ghosting, gaslighting, the pressure. I mean, I remember one speaker company. I mean, I get to review Lyra, $190,000 Rockports, and Josh never said one word. Just thank you, Anthony. Angie says thank you for coming down. But I remember this company that was getting a little bit of influencing on the internet, and the guy sent me like a questionnaire. Now, well, ask me the question. If you don't know who the hell I am, fine. But I mean, these questions were ridiculous. It's gatekeeping, and Angie and I, two of us, were sick of it. And the disrespect, don't you find, Ange? Just the disrespect.
Yeah, I think the problem comes that we have a lot of amateurs that who have not listened to what they're critiquing, and then they're extending that comment or opinion. I don't care. Everyone has an opinion, but have a valid opinion that you've had it, used it, played with it, lived with it. But to have an opinion on something that you read somewhere else and you want to follow that path so that you're not left out and you're part of the group, just like you've heard me say, I'm sorry, I haven't heard that. I can't comment. But once I do, I'll give you a comment. And these guys are giving an opinion that this is good. The poor guy goes out and buys it, spends good hard-earned money, only to find out, what the hell, this isn't going to work. I can't even mount it or assemble it or put it in my system. But eventually people will learn to take advice from people who have lived with the gear, and those amateurs will drift off. So we just have to ride this and take the punishment, because we're the ones getting beat up because we have an opinion. Sorry, don't ask if you can't handle the answer.
If you don't want the answer, don't ask the question. But you're right, Ange. It's the cult of the amateur, and it's fine. I mean, I love that about the internet. The more the merrier.
My mission has always been to help people. So let's see what you've got. Oh, you know what? We did a boo-boo here. Let's fix that boo-boo, because out of 5 pieces you have, you only made 1 mistake. That's not bad. Let's fix that up and move forward. Do you know what I mean? There's the hobbyist part. Well, they're going to go loopy anyway. Let them let them enjoy the hobby, because they're learning at the same time. So no one the best story I have is I had a customer that was in my shop, and he was listening to a pair of speakers, and do you have something else? So I put on a second pair of speakers. I am watching him sitting there tapping his toe when one speaker played, and like a soldier on the other speaker. And he goes, I'll take that one. I go, wait a second, you've now confused me. The one that you're rigid and not tapping your toes goes, Angie, you don't understand. I don't want to be 100% there yet. So I learned. Second best for him right now is good, because he doesn't want his journey over. And that's okay too.
Okay, before we go on to now, we've solved the ills of the world with reviewing. If anybody has not seen Scott's review of the Black Sabbath record, it's absolute necessary watching. It's absolutely brilliant. Not just that it's negative, because it's not. It's very positive in many ways. But there are good critical comments that have done very elegantly, and elegant criticism is difficult to do. Scott does it beautifully. So I want to just tell you a little bit about this record that I heard, and this amazing woman, Janine Jansen. Jim, do you know Janine's playing?
Yeah, I do. She's a superb violinist. She's doing a lot more teaching now. I think she got fed up with the sort of rat race of constantly traveling, and I think she teaches in the Netherlands as well. But she's a wonderful player.
Well, I was thinking about one of the questions when we talked about there's no wrong question, and we talked about what's your favorite recording of the Four Seasons, and Angie and I discussed that one of the very early shows. Well, I heard Janine Jansen's version. She does with like 8 or 9 friends. I think people she teaches with in the Netherlands, and it was just remarkable. I don't want to give away the lead when we do the building the library for that one, but I heard this. I heard some scuttlebutt about this performance, and it's absolutely stunning. And Max Geiger, one of our guys at Audiophile, was listening to it and he said today, "Oh my God, it's incredible! It really is." Her playing, she's the most wonderful player. She left the stage for a little while. I think there was some issues. I'm not sure if it was stage fright or just family issues. But I know that she's back with a vengeance on Decca, and she has young Klaus Makela, who he was getting all that flag, but he's actually very fine and got Chicago now and Second. The Oslo Philharmonic played very, very well. But both concertos, the Prokofiev is superb, but the Sibelius, my God. Jim, when you hear it, the last movement, check out her bow work. It's just remarkable. It's so fast, yet she changes the sound on like 16th notes. She's amazing. And wow. I've not heard another performance like it. So it's, yes, as Angie, it's digital. You won't get it on a record. They might start putting them on records, but it's beautifully recorded, beautifully played. I would consider that a record of the week, and definitely have a listen to that. You can stream it. You can stream it now. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Now, Angie, did you say you've had Jim? You have no records to show. Angie,
no.
I know you're too. Jim, I cannot tell you how much we appreciate it. It's not the same without you. And I know it's nearly 3 a.m. there now. I mean, my God. Actually, it's after 3 a.m.
Yeah,
that young lady of yours is amazing. She's up there with you. Angie, do you have a couple of records to show?
Yeah, as requested, I've got, tons. But since I've got the cleaning machine, and since my mom's been in the hospital, I'm listening at 3, 4 in the morning, and it's actually great. So one thing that blew me away is this record here. It's 2 albums, and it's totally insane. I don't know if you know it, but it's an insane record, and I absolutely love it.
Hornstein. Oh, Mahler.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
It's a famous, very famous recording. There are some reviewers, quote unquote, that will laugh at Hornstein, laugh at the LSO, laugh at the recording. But the LSO sound great. Hornstein's interpretation is incredible, and that Unicorn recording is really, really good. How are you enjoying it, Ange? Is it lovely?
It's insane. It brought me to quite a few emotional different levels. The record 1 and 2, because it's 2 records, it's like a roller coaster ride. It's got a lot of energy. And then when you go to 3.5 and the 4th, it calms you down. That all that energy that it's just an amazing listen. I would highly recommend anyone wants to feel anything, you want to feel alive, buy this record.
Do
I
you know
don't know if you can get it anywhere, but it
Mahler
is
said?
so good. It's
Mahler
not often that I get carried away with a record like that.
That
The other one I listened to was this one.
yeah, that's great.
Mm.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
This was great.
he's
But
amazing.
even better than this one, which gave me the same kind of energy and just I felt really good, was this one.
Oh yeah, that's a very famous record.
This is fantastic.
I actually have that.
Well, Ange, let me
It's
just tell you something. Let me tell you something about the record. That is the very, very first digital record from
Yes.
from
There you
Ian.
go. Digital.
The very first
This
record,
is why. Yeah. Go ahead.
and it came out on CD, and the English critics went mental. It was so brilliant, and it's a very beautiful sounding. But I would just want to tell you about the Mahler 3, Ange. When you get to the 4th movement, I think it's the 4th one. It's subtitled "What Love Taught Me."
Ah,
That's why I love it so much at this time.
it's insane. It just triggered so many different emotions. And
Yeah.
it's like I didn't want the record over. I wanted to play it again. I go, no, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Get your ass to bed. But it captivated me.
You sent me a
This is
photograph.
another one I played.
Let me just get you up there, Ange. Hang on.
Mahler can do that.
Yeah. Oh, these are beautiful, great records, Ange. I mean, Richter and Beethoven. I mean,
This is insane. And the Philips recordings are really quiet. You can know if you have a Philips recording, it's going to be most of the time extremely quiet. This one I shared with you already, which is totally awesome.
fabulous performance.
It's a great cover too.
Yeah.
It is.
I love those Bruegel
Look at
paintings.
that.
Incredible.
So those were the 4 I spent with myself in the wee hours of the morning.
Hmm.
Then you showed one of these, I think last week.
Oh yeah.
So this I'm comparing to all my other planets. And so far, this is extremely quiet. In audiophile terms, it's very low noise. It's very articulate. It's less rambunctious and round, like the other ones, but it's really good. And here's the second one I have.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
The Hisabales is also incredible. Well, it's famous.
Yeah.
And yet there's more. Oh, let's see.
That's a cheap cover, folks, right there.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Just want to just say something, Ange.
Have-
Ange, just want to jump in for a second.
Sure.
Next, I'll come straight back to you, Ange. Next, where are we? I'm so sorry, guys. There we go. Our next guest is John DeVore. He's coming on next week. He designs those amazing new loudspeakers in Brooklyn, and John has this incredible aesthetic. Yeah.
He's a brilliant guy.
Yeah, he certainly is. But if I can just give myself a little bit of a solo hint. So one day, John invited us all down, a lot of reviewers, myself, John, who's the fellow from Stereophone? John Atkinson, Johnny Darko, Johnny Darko, myself, Jan, and our significant others, and took us out for the most beautiful meal, very generously, at this steakhouse in Denver. But before we went there, John said, come up to the room and have a listen. So most people are putting on, classic records, and this and that. John doesn't do that. He sometimes plays 78s, but this time he had a mono with his beautiful Bakelite mono cart, and he played this. And that's why I just put it up, Ange, because you just showed the Budapest. This is Mozart's string quintets for string quartet and violas. And the viola is, do you know who the second viola is, Jim? Walter Trampler.
Oh, Walter Trampler, really? Yeah, right.
So you got the Budapest String Quartet playing Mozart in mono, just as Jack was saying, and some of the commentators were saying that the focus is on the music. It's not on the bloom or the stereo sound. It's just a totally focused sound, and that cost me, I think, about $30 on Discogs. If you find that, guys, it's wonderful. Just like Angie's, anything with the Budapest Quartet, especially mono, very highly recommended. Sorry, I just wanted to kind of piggyback onto
No
yours.
worries.
Okay,
No worries.
So that Budapest is wonderful.
I think this is one of your favorite guys, Bruno Walter.
Amazing. That's a great performance.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
And let's do this one. I haven't played this yet.
Oh,
There you go.
Is it on Vanguard?
This is no. What is
No.
it on? It looks like it would be, but it's not. Let me just check the record.
Looks a little hard. It's a little hard to see.
No. It's just called the Haydn Society.
Oh yes. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
oh.
Okay, guys, we got about 12 minutes. Before we finish, first of all, Angie, amazing records as usual. I want to just do the Bartok Building a Library, if you don't mind. And I know we all have our concerto for orchestra. I'm just going to show you some things that I've got to get this started. These are records, performances of Bartok that I think anybody can, you can get. They're amazing. Some of them are very famous. Start off with this one. This is the Decker, Schulte, LSO, Miraculous Mandarin, and music for strings, percussion, celesta. It's just a remarkable record. And Bartok is one of my favorite composers. When I reviewed the myths and sonatas and myths last week or the week before on Audiophilia, there was the piece by the two other composers, the Polish composer Szymanowski and Dochnani, both wonderful sonatas. But then the Bartok first sonata came on, and it's just in a different league as a composer. And so if you don't know the Miraculous Mandarin, have a listen. It's incredible, violent, mean, nasty, and stunning and powerful. And not many people do it better than Schulte, the LSO. And the music for strings, percussion, celesta, many people consider Bartok's best piece. And I would agree. Then there's this, of course, everyone has that. This is the classic records, 33, Concerto for Orchestra with Fritz Reiner, an amazing piece of music. Bartok was dying of leukemia, and he had no money. His friends at Columbia University gave him a little bit of a stipend, but he was living in a cold water flat 6 floors up in New York City. Had no money. Kusevitsky came from the Boston Symphony and said, I want you to write a piece. We're going to give you some money. And they gave him some money, and in 6 weeks, he wrote probably the greatest work of the 20th century. That is an incredible performance.
I think the reissue of that, Anthony, I think Bernie Grundman actually did the remastering of that reissue that came out a couple of years ago.
Well, that one, he said, Scott, you got the 45s, right?
Yeah.
You got them there, Scott?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, I think Bernie did the mastering on that.
This
Yeah.
is 45 sets, 4 records.
I was thinking more of the Concerto for Orchestra.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
I got them both, but yeah,
Yep.
great. I have.
And show the other one that you just showed, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah. This is the music for strings, percussion.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just have the original.
Yeah.
This is dead quiet. And as the original, it's fantastic. I've never heard the 45 or the 33 or the Bernie Grumman, but this is wonderful. Which is a better one? I did a shootout. If you go to the Audiophily channel, shootout between the Reiner and the Schulte. They're pretty close. The recording wise, brilliant. Both Chicago Symphony and the LSO, brilliant. Both at the best. And Reiner and Schulte, you know, they're both friends with Bartok and studied with him, I think. And can't get any better. And I will show you some digital stuff, some CDs that I think you should get. And Jim, I'm going to ask you about the quartets in a second, and if you've played any.
Well, I've got a little story about Bartok, which is quite interesting. I don't know if you want to hear it.
Yeah, I do. I just wanted to show them. If you're going to get the string quartets, I think that's a great one. Jim will come to yours in a second. That one is incredible. Emerson, just amazing. I mean, Bartok's 6-string quartets are a seminal part of the repertoire. And then those 2 recordings, the one on the left, Pellini, no one did it better than Pellini, the Bartok 2 concertos with Chicago and Claudio. It's incredible. Now, the recording on the right was done, it's digital. It was done in Kingsway Hall, but I'm hoping that the guys at Emil Berliner do that. It was Abado's favorite record. I've never heard anything like it. The Miraculous Mandarin is so vicious, it's so mean, and it's so brilliantly played. It's even better than the Schulte, but it's only on compact disc. So, Jim, tell me a little bit about what your story.
Well, I was going to show it to you last week, but we were out of time. But the Fine Arts Quartet recorded all the Bartoks in the 1960s, and they won a Grand Prix de Disque. I think I'm not sure it was Phillips or Scott will probably know. But I always think they're really great recordings. I'll show you the record I found the other day. But there's an interesting thing about the Concerto for Orchestra. There's a piano professor called Gordon Green, who used to teach piano at the Royal Academy of Music in London, and also taught in Manchester and Liverpool. And he befriended Bartok in the last few years of his life. I think he went over there just before the Second World War and visited him and things. And he got a call from Bartok to say he was en route to America. And he was staying at the Adelphi Hotel, which of course is now the infamous Adelphi Hotel in Liverpool, because it's sort of, you know, people get murdered in there, and you know,
Oh, God.
they don't get discovered until 3 weeks later, you know. But in its day, you know, it was the hotel everybody stayed in en route to America, getting on the ships, you know, the Mauritania, all the big ocean liners. Anyway, Gordon Green went up to the Adelphi Hotel and met Bartok. And in the on the piano in the sort of whatever the sort of room is, the reception hall, Bartok said, "Oh, I want to come and I want to play you some things. I want you to tell me what you think." And Gordon Green is adamant to this very day that the main amount of work he played was the sketches for the Concerto for Orchestra. And he always maintained that Bartok had sort of semi-written the piece before he ever set foot in America. But of course, people like to think that, you know, they gave him 10 bob on a hotel room and he wrote it in New York. But there is, I think, some musicological dispute about this. But it's a great story. And Gordon Green, right to the end of his life, said, you know, I actually sat next to him while he played me the piano transcripts of what became the Concerto for Orchestra. So you know,
very interesting.
Those enigmas that you'll never really be able to solve.
Well, he was a bit of he's a genius, right? He's a bit of an odd fellow.
Yeah.
If you check out the first violin concerto, which he put in a drawer, and it wasn't played till after his death, he wrote it for a violinist named Steffi Guy, he was madly in love with. Steffi Guy didn't want anything to do with him. She thought he was a weirdo. And he wrote this incredible concerto with the most beautiful first movement, which is basically his professing his love for this girl. I mean, if you listen to Midori with the Berlin Phil and Zubin made it. It's incredible recording. And he did. It wasn't performed in his lifetime. Oh, you've got it. Oh, wait a go. Let's get you. Hang on. Let's get you up. Let's get you up. Yeah, that's it. That is a humdinger of a performance and a recording. The orchestra sounds incredible. But anyway, she didn't want. But the other thing that I found out, because there's a couple of books written of him. One of my favorite pieces is his opera, Bluebeard's Castle, which is incredible. Go to YouTube and type in "Opening the Sixth Door" and listen to the music. It's amazing. As they open the sixth door and his fland is there. John Tomlinson, Jim, has a great performance of this with the BBC.
Yeah.
Amazing voice. But anyway, he wrote it in a nudist colony.
Wow.
That's why I think Angie does her best work in nudist colonies. Isn't that correct? Anyway, my friends, first of all, Jack, thank you for coming up and showing that great Victrola collection. Amazing.
My pleasure.
And you're getting to be this incredible guest that we love having you.
Thank you.
Angie, thanks again for coming up so early and showing us the KL audio. Jealousy knows no bounds. And you're incredible. You also sent me a record that she was playing late at night and sent me, Anthony, listen to this. It was the flute sonatas, the Roman on Papyrus, the audiophile record company. It sounded gorgeous, even over the text. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And so say hi to Grandma and make sure everyone's well soon, and your brother, and stay strong. Jim, 3:30 in the morning, but
Yeah, I know.
we're working on Tom Bowes coming on. It's going to be 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning when Tom comes on.
Yeah.
Jim, I only have one little bit of advice for you. If you ever come to New York, don't ever wear that hat and those sunglasses. Believe me. You'll be
No raincoat.
no raincoat.
I said when I was in New York once, I bought a black Homburg hat, a black, beautiful, full-length coat, cashmere coat. And a friend of mine took me to, the Souk nightclub in Alphabet City.
Yes.
This is about 25 years ago. She took me there, and I was queuing up with all the sort of mods, punks, and sort of riff-raff.
Well, if they ever do the Godfather 5, Jim, you could get in that.
I know. Well, I think I sort of cleared that queue in about 12 seconds. The bouncers couldn't believe how quickly people disappeared. Anyway, I know. I'll avoid that from now on.
Anyway, thank you, guys. Before we go, I should say the venerable Max Geiger of Audiophilia has just popped in. Hi, how are you? Unfortunately, we're finished, but it's wonderful to see you. How you doing?
Right on. How's it going?
Well, we're having a great time, but we're all done. We've been on for an hour and a half. For Jim, it's 3:30 in the morning. Angie's been up all night. Scott's underwater in Miami. Jack spent a fortune on Victrolas, and I'm glad you got to listen to the Jansen Sibelius today. You liked it, eh?
Yeah. Hey, can I throw up one Bartok record just so?
Yes, please.
I just had time to hop on. Let me grab it.
Hey, he's using the terminology. Hop on, like those all those hip VC guys do. Let me get you big, Max. Hang on. For those of you who don't know, Max is a writer with Audiophilia. Is just absolutely brilliant. Got a great ear. Wonderful writer. His reviews never need editing. They're like perfectly formed reviews when they get to my desk. I'm very pleased. So go ahead, Max.
All right. Actually, I'm just kidding. I got 2. I got the piano concertos.
Oh, Victrola.
Yeah.
Brenda Freeshoy with Berlin. This is like a reissue from the late 70s. Sounds pretty good. Super cheap. All of them. And then this is a recommendation from James. Scored this for a couple bucks. Absolutely killer.
Yeah, that one is good.
Super lush sound, real folksy melody. The violin part, I love it.
Who gave you that recommendation, Jim?
Yeah, I found it. I think I texted the group, and yeah, he was like, "You got to get on it," and he told me the story.
Yeah, no, it's one of the best.
Yeah, so
because Menuhin played it with Bartok and everybody, and yeah, he was one of the great interpreters of that concerto.
It's a really intimate recording. Yeah, it's something else.
So you like it. So how are you, Max? You look great. Life is good. Next time, come on a little bit early if you can.
I got the kids in the other room. I literally it took me an hour and a half just to neutralize them.
Carl comes on with his kids. We have to see his kids every single time. No, we love the kids are fine, and the dogs, and of course. Anyway, it's great to see you, Max. Come on a little bit longer next time.
I'll try.
When we hang up, just hang on just for a second. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Incredible stream considering the trials and tribulations today we got on. Have a great week, everybody. See you next. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.